I was working out in the gym back in Huntsville, Alabama, and this weight slammed, and I don't know why. Instinctively, I dropped to the ground. It was almost like a flashback. You hear rounds coming in. Every light in the gym was off. There was yelling and nobody was medic. I felt something dripping. My right leg was throbbing. My hand in front of my face. I'm hit. It was a direct impact on me. I should be dead.
Made in the USA. Yes, because in today's episode, new day, new goals, let's own it and get into an American military hero story that has now turned into an elite entrepreneur. He is someone that I respect so much. He was born and raised in Alabama, and his story represents many young Americans that have volunteered and sacrificed their own lives to defend the freedom of America. Colin Wayne has served in over 100 missions in Iraq, each time sacrificing his life. After almost losing his life while serving in Afghanistan, he spent the next few years in Alabama living from an RV and rehabilitating his body.
Working out is my drug. I don't party every night. I don't get wasted. I don't pop bottles. I work out. I push my body to its limits, and then I push harder.
He not only came back stronger, but became the #1 fitness influencer in America. Still living in his RV, which he parked outside a warehouse with his wife and newborn son, he launched his first new business, Redline Steel. His small business has now become the biggest company in home decor in America, selling 100% American-made products by, you guessed it, Americans. We're getting ready to head to Alabama and really immerse ourselves in how he's been able to take this small idea as an American hero serving in the military with very little business acumen to now becoming one of the most elite entrepreneurs of our generation. Let's get right to it. The story of none other than Colin Wayne.
Look how he closes the doors. Did you see that?
Yeah. So sick. I told him we did this with Andy Frisella.
Yeah. There's no direct flights from Laredo over here.
So if you want to...
Oh, you got the keys now.
Look at them, ready.
Redline, not lazy. Let's go. Yeah, what are you gonna put on this one?
So I got it. So it's RL CEO. Yeah.
Nice.
So Redline CEO.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
Alright, hop in. Perks. Perks spell scale. Oh my God, Colin, sorry bro. I guess I'll just take it home. Guys, so comment what you think. If you were hanging out with Colin, would you want to drive the Rolls Royce or the Lamborghini? Comment below. Yo, this is sick. You know, it's crazy. From like season 1 with Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, you know, there's a ton of us that have bought exotic cars, and I just want to say, like, there's something about when you earn something like this that, you know, it feels good. You can't lie. I mean, and it's not about it correlating to your happiness. It's not about, you know, you needing it to prove yourself or to look cool for others. You know, it's more so a reward, you know, and less about you trying to post on the gram with a whip, and more so just like you reward yourself. Your hard work pays off, and that may mean, you know, that may mean a vacation for your family. That may mean buying. For me, I buy cars for my mom and buy cars for my dad. You know, for me, buying my Ferrari off the lot was a really meaningful part of my journey because it was a dream come true. It wasn't about anyone else. And so whenever I get to be around entrepreneurs that have earned it and have done this, like, you know, for me, it's a representation of their hard work. It's a representation of their sacrifice. And ultimately, man, it's fun. Alright guys, so check it out. Jeff, he didn't make it in this morning. We had to change his flight. He lands at 1. So I'm with Colin. He just picked me up in the Wraith. Pretty sick. Just came in. I haven't been able to see behind these walls what he has built from a 5,000 square foot to now, what is this,
110,000.
Holy shit.
3 acres on the inside.
All right, so Jeff, we're gonna, you know, obviously have him and shoot it the way we always do, but I was like, you know what, let's just start vlogging in the meantime. So, all right, Colin, I want to see this, bro.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Come on. That's America, man.
Woo! Sick, man. Wow. Damn. Hell yeah, look at that flag. Yes. Like, this is the reason why America is so great, bro. That anything is truly possible here.
Bringing jobs back to America.
Woo!
So this is a really cool machine. This is automated fulfillment machine. It's cohesive, so it sticks to itself and not the product. So it only bonds to the corrugated. So you put a piece on there, and you can run it as a batch or a print slip, and we'll process it. It automatically scales it. It goes through this tunnel. It shears the package depending on the length that you select, and then it prints and applies the label, and then it goes into a bin and out the door. So operators don't have to touch, put it in a box, tape it. You know, it's a lot streamlined.
Wow.
So this machine can do 14 to 20 packages per minute. You do about 7,800 packages in a 12 or 10 and a half hour shift.
Sick. Literally started with one machine that was nothing like this, and in 2.5 years, you got to see this place, guys. Unreal. The technology, the automation, the innovation, and what's really cool is like the people that I'm meeting, that Colin has here, working here, from top to bottom. You can just tell the pride that they take in their work is really spectacular, and you can tell like they've all grown. You can just see that they have a lot of values that you can see that they withhold within working here, and the brand. They take pride keeping it clean, the way that they work the machines, but then also you can tell that they've learned so much. Some of the people that I'm talking that I just met, like right here, yeah. So, you know, Devin got hired a year ago. He didn't know anything about lasers and these type of machines, and within 1 year this guy can literally take this entire machine apart, knows everything, every little, you know, piece of this machine. So it's really great to just see how, you know, how this is, you know, helping people grow as individuals and in their craft and their expertise. You know, I gotta say, bro, that's good leadership, man. Colin, man, it's pretty spectacular.
Hell of a team here, man.
Hell of a team. And
dude, let's put things into perspective. It's Saturday. These guys have already worked. We do minimums of 12, so they've worked 60 hours. They all volunteered to come back today because we're backlogged. So they're doing whatever it takes. That whatever it takes mentality.
Wow.
90% of the staff do not have to be here. They're not forced. They want to be.
Wow. That's awesome,
That
man.
tells you a lot.
It does. All right, so I'm about to see how this one works. We're still waiting on Digital Jeff. This about to land in like 1 hour, and then he can take over the camera work. But this is an exclusive. I don't always vlog.
You walk out
Colin, thank you so much for inviting the entire Leaders Create Leaders community, myself, Digital Jeff, to be here to actually really kind of embrace what you have built here. I mean, it's really spectacular. I know that this is something that, you know, comes with so much hard work, and it's really unbelievable. And I know it's just the beginning. I mean, 3 years to spend the day with you, go from a 5,000 square foot facility to now 110,000 square foot facility, learn about all the intricacies of what it takes to build something like this. It's really respectable, and most importantly, I admire you as a person. You know, you as a leader, how you treat people, how you treated me and our team. It's just, you know, obviously you have all of those morals that I look for in someone that I want to be surrounding myself with. So thank you for inviting us here, and thank you for inviting the LCL community.
Heck yeah, man, dude. I'm stoked for this episode. Been watching you for about a year now, and I'm so just grateful and humbled that you're here. So big props to you for coming out, as well as Jeff. And yeah, I'm excited for this episode.
Hell yeah.
And y'all should be too.
Yeah, oh my God, there's gonna be so much wisdom dropped, because it's not easy to go from an idea to doing tens of millions of dollars. In my opinion, and I'm sure yours, this is something that is on track to 100% become a billion-dollar company. I think it could be, I mean, as big as already, I think, like as like an Amazon, I look at it. And I feel you already are like the Amazon of home decor, you know, especially within steel in the world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man. So it's like, dude, it's crazy, because when you think about it, 2.5 years to be the largest in the nation, and that's true. Like, we're buying millions of pounds of steel. Our competitors can't even touch remotely close to where we're at right now. So it's really cool. And what's even crazier is when I started this company, I had zero experience or knowledge in it, but it didn't stop me from moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unreal. So I want to get, obviously I know you're watching and you're probably like, all right, so how did he do it? You know, tell us more about the business, but you know how I love to dive into the actual leader's journey. So I want to kind of take a step back. We're going to get into all the stuff on the business, but I want to get to know you more. And we spent some time today, and it was really amazing hearing some of your story. So can you tell a little bit everybody about, like, what was it like growing up here in Alabama, and kind of tell me about that beginning of your journey.
Yeah, so like a lot of people in America, they're born in a split home. I was too. So parents got divorced at around 3 years old. So that's what I was accustomed to. I was used to that. I've got an older brother. He's a big influence on my life, still is to this day. I've got a younger sister, amazing traditional type Southern belle. And then, ironically, she married one of the best guys here in Alabama, Matt Bradford. He's my office manager, amazing guy. And I was raised in a very loving home. We never had a lot. We weren't raised super rich. We were kind of in the middle. I'd say low middle class. But my mom did everything she could to provide for us. She was also an entrepreneur, so she was a photographer. And she was working a lot, but she would bring us along, and we made it work, and that was just what we were accustomed to. I got kicked out of my mom's house, and I'll tell you why. I'm not a bad kid, but I got kicked out at 16, and I was actually emancipated. So I didn't want to listen. She would ground me. I'd walk out the front door and say, okay, you know, good luck. So I'm not going to just sit here. I wasn't great with authority when I was younger, which is really crazy, because when I joined the military at 17, I was phenomenal. I loved just the military and everything that it had to instill and embody what I am today. And then went into high school and I did ROTC, so Reserve Officer Training Corps, and I didn't do sports. I did kind of the military JRTC route. Yep. And it was a good childhood, man. So
I honor people that have served our country. You know, like seriously, we look up to all these influencers and celebrities, even entrepreneurs, but ultimately the people that actually have
sacrifice to give us the freedom to conquer the American dream, and that's exactly what you're a representation of and what you're doing. I honor you and what you've done in serving, as well as everyone else that's out there, my cousin included. You know, my grandfather served. So talk to me a little bit about it, because that's a huge sacrifice. Or, you know, what made you go through that process of saying, I'm going to join the military?
So I told you I got an older brother, definitely look up to him. I think about a year before I was eligible to join the military, he enlisted.
Okay.
So he enlisted in the military, and he served about 13 years. He recently got out of the military as a captain in the medical side. And so he was a big influence, because joining at least. And I've always been really big on adventure, and so that was a huge thing. During my time in the military, I actually did 3 tours. So my first tour was to Cairo, Egypt, Operation Bright Star. My second tour was to Iraq in 2009, 2010, to Basra, Iraq, so the very southern tip. And then my third tour was actually as a DoD contractor to Afghanistan in Oregon. It's actually FOB Boris. And something drastic happened there. And it's something that I would say is a pivotal moment in my life, that I started to appreciate things from a different perspective. So May 3rd, 2012 is a day that I'll remember forever. It's a day that I got blown up by a 107 millimeter rocket. It impacted about 3.5 feet from me. And from the grace of God, I'm still alive. I remember rounds coming in. I remember rockets going off all around us. I was in a gym, and the alarm siren went off. It was womp, 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 incoming, incoming, incoming. And so that told us, the people on the base, that there was an incoming threat. Our base was pretty bad. We were near Pakistan, right on the border. And you could think of it like a horseshoe of mountains all around us, and we're down in the valley. So to kind of paint the picture. As soon as I heard the IDF alarm siren, I got down because with shrapnel and everything, if it were to impact us, that's going to be your lowest. As I was going to the ground, it impacted. So I wasn't all the way to the ground. It impacted. I don't remember much. I had a concussion. I was blacked out. I remember I was working out in the gym, and there was like 4 or 5 other people in there. I regained consciousness. My right leg was throbbing, bro. Like, I knew I was hit. I didn't know how bad. It was night, pitch black. Couldn't see my hand in front of my face. And I knew something was going on. I couldn't feel my leg. My back was hurting pretty bad. And I was yelling medic. I yelled medic several times, and nobody came. I didn't know what to do, because I couldn't stand. I couldn't feel my right leg. And I just kept yelling. And I felt like it took 15 minutes for somebody to come in there. And it really wasn't the reality. It was actually a matter of 60 seconds, 30 seconds, somebody was there carrying me out. And I remember 2 guys walking in or coming in. I could see their silhouette. And they grabbed me, and they carried me to the TMC, is what they called a treatment medical center. This is a super small base. There's only like 65 people on the entire base. And rounds were still coming in. So enemy was still attacking us while all this is going on. They called for a 9-line medevac. So a helicopter flew in from a nearby base, dropped, picked me up, and I went to 2 or 3 bases over to FOB Oregon East. FOB OE is what they call it. And I sustained some, at that time, pretty major injuries. I'm calling it minor now because I'm lucky to be alive. I sustained L1 through L3 nerve damage. I was treated for TBI, traumatic brain injury. I had shrapnel that went all the way through my leg and missed my shin bone by centimeters. I'll show you what that looks like. It's crazy. I had shrapnel that went to both arms. And like I said, through the grace of God, I'm still alive. Once I got medevac to FOB OE, my oxygen levels were depleting. So even with oxygen on, they were at 90%. So they thought I had internal bleeding. And at the base that I was at, they didn't have a lot of equipment because you're overseas in a combat zone, so you're lucky to have, you know, a nurse that's there. They medevaced me again. They thought that there was something severely wrong. I had internal bleeding. I had something wrong with my lungs, and they medevaced me priority, so that in front of all of these other cases, they flew me to Bagram. I spent about 10 days there. Come to find out, they gave me too much morphine, and so that depleted my white blood cell count, restricted oxygen, and I don't know all the details about it, but that was the biggest concern. So. Fast forward, I got sent stateside. I did about 6 months of physical therapy, and about right after I got done with physical therapy, I actually shot with the local photographer in a gym again. And I started a Facebook page. No clue what I was doing. Started a Facebook page, and within 30 days I had over 100,000 followers. And that was kind of like how I started into the social game. But it's super ironic that the gym almost killed me, but it also saved my life.
I blast my music. I sweat. I ache. I love pain, and I hate skinny. I don't bother you, so don't judge me. You can take the clubs and the flashy life. I'll take the darkness of the gym all day, every day.
So you were lucky to really make it out alive.
I was one of the first casualties that I was one of the first guys that got medevaced and not dead. So I'm super blessed. It's something that I don't think about a lot. Yeah. I'm always looking ahead, but I think it's one of those things that, like, I don't take life for granted. Yeah. And I know that God has put me on this earth for a purpose. And there's a reason why I survived in Afghanistan. There's a reason why I'm still alive today to tell my story and to build this company into what it is. And I think it's to be something bigger than what I can even envision right now. I think there's a vision, but there's a purpose. And I'm just honestly thankful that I'm still alive today, because I swear to God, like, I should be dead.
All right, we're about to check out his first factory where it all began, before going from here to now 125,000 square foot factory. And now he's pulling up in his Rolls Royce and his Lambo.
Yeah, man, so this is where it all started, bro. Like, January of 2016, you're looking at the building that I started in. And it was like, when I first moved in here, I didn't know how I could fill it up, right? I didn't know, I think there was an ultimate vision, but finally pulling up to the spot where we started, that was only 2 years ago, right? So less than 2 years ago, we were in 5,000 square feet. We rented this building, and then we scaled into this one right here as well. So we had about 10,000 square feet right here. And then we filled it up super fast. We went through our first Christmas and we couldn't keep up with orders. And it's really cool looking back, because, you know, we were walking around earlier and you could see like the infrared tunnels and the conveyor lines where we're powder coating everything, but it didn't used to always be that way. You know, we had literally a kitchen oven, something everybody has. And we made that as a resource for us to bake our parts. We made sure we welded hot rolled steel together, pushed a door. If the parts were over 24 inches, we had to pull the cart out and flip the part around. Like, it got us to this point, but it's almost embarrassing because it took that to get to where we're at right now. It's humbling in this fact that we were resourceful. We did whatever it took to make it happen. And at the same time, bro, like 2 years ago when I walked in here, I was super proud. I would bring people in, like other influencers. They would come visit me sometimes, and I would walk through the shop. And even at the smallest state of growing, you know, from 5,000 square feet to where we're at right now, over 120,000, the same gratitude is still there daily. So no matter what steps of the process, even showing off my homemade oven, like I was bragging, like, bro, we got this shit to work. You know? So
absolutely.
it's like whatever it takes mentality, but humbling yourself to know that like we came from there, and I'm always proud of the process because it's gotten us to this point. And here we are, 2.5 years later as a business, and I'm fortunate enough to have an unbelievable team. We've created an incredible culture of guys that's working even as we speak, as we film this today. And they're working 60 hours Monday through Friday, and they volunteer to come in on the weekend. That's something that you can't just take out of nowhere. You're cultivating this type of these awesome employees, like they're bought into the vision.
Yeah.
And
did they start here with you in the 5,000?
A couple of them.
Okay.
A couple of them. So we have almost 60 employees now, and about I'd say 5 were actually here with me. So they remember, they've seen everything and the growth behind it. So.
And then what advice would you give to someone who's at that state right now that's just starting off, whether it's in their basement, their garage, or their first little, 5,000, 5,000 is still not too bad to start off in, right?
Right.
But like, what was some of those early on growing pains, and what advice would you give to someone, when they're at that stage?
I think, so the biggest issue we had right here, not only like outgrowing the facility, but something that people don't really contemplate in its entirety. We didn't have 3-phase here. So a lot of the equipment needed for us to scale and the automation behind it, we couldn't do at this building. It would have cost me more money to put in 3-phase and a step down transformer than the entire cost of the building. So it would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars. So talking about a growing pain for us is it's hard to be enclosed and feel restricted on what kind of growth I can be because of your constraints. So you have to think outside of the box. Like, all right, even before I was outgrown the facility, I was like, all right, I got to get out of this building because I'm restrained based on power source. And so that's something that, like, when I moved into here, never thought in a million years that would be an issue. I didn't even know our CNC plasma tables needed compressed air to run. Like, I had basic, bare knowledge of tool knowledge, and now I run the largest customized steel home decor manufacturing company in the United States. So I think my advice would be to just believe in yourself and believe in what you're creating. I had no clue what I was doing and how to make it, but I saw a vision. There was a vision there, and I was willing to do whatever it took. I was willing to research. I was willing to pay the manufacturers of that piece of equipment, pay them for consulting so that I could soak everything in like a sponge. As the owner, I want to know every bit, every process there is to know. Like, I've got to know exactly how it works so that I can walk into any department and know, like, they're doing their job or they're not, or what can we do to better that. So I think it's just taking full ownership of everything. And as we've grown as a company, we've developed multiple tiers of leadership and embodying that they can take that ownership and that they can run with it. And I'm not here to micromanage and step on their toes, which has allowed me to look at the macro and to continue to grow and scale this company into a 9-figure business in the next 18 to 24 months.
I love it.
I think that's because from the bottom to the top or from the top to the bottom, I know if I can speak for my company, I'll go out there and take boxes. I'm not above it. And same with my management. I let them know, like, this is, you're not above certain things. We're gonna sweep the floor if we have to, whatever it takes, right? If we're behind at the powder line, I'll be out there hanging stuff. Do I have to be? Absolutely not. I'm blessed enough that at this point, I can focus on the macro. But I think the guys respect it because they know if I'm willing to come out there and the plant operations manager is willing to work right beside them. Yeah. And if we're behind, people are willing to work 70, 80 hours a week, and I'm willing to be there right next to them. And I'm not just demanding them to do it, but I'm leading by example. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm right next to them the whole way. And from the top to the bottom, everybody is the same way. All the levels of leadership, they work the same way. Nobody's above it. And I think that that's helped tremendously. And I also think that giving people hope. You know, we start everybody just like the military at a baseline. So Blake, I know you met him, my plant operations manager. You know, he started at a baseline, $8.50 an hour. He was only going to be here for a couple of weeks. I didn't know this till the end, but like he grew into now my right-hand man. And you know, he's gonna do pretty well this year. He just bought a house. He sent his wife to dental school to be a doctor. Like, it's amazing, and that's the true testament, is when your employees are doing so well for themselves, and it's just getting started. Like, and dude, we're creating opportunities and jobs, not only with steel, but with canvas and candles. Now I'm gonna need management and multiple tiers of leadership for that. Like, dude, 2 weeks from now, we're having a ribbon cutting here at this facility. We're gonna have the mayor here, the city council, the press. I'm gonna announce that, you know, and by the time this is live, they'll already know, but I'm committing to another 100 jobs within the next 36 months. So it's a big stepping stone for us.
That is amazing, yo. Guys, comment and give Colin some love. I think that, if I may, is just something remarkable that I really admire because, you know, I told you this earlier. I'm like, man, this is like the American dream. This is truly the American dream, right? And this is why this country is the land of opportunity. And I love entrepreneurship for this reason, because not only can you make your dreams a reality and how that can impact your family and your community, but truly you're helping rebuild this economy, which America needs more now than ever before because of the debt crisis that we're in. You know, so you're creating real jobs. And that's something, man, to be super proud of. And, you know, giving these people that hope and giving them the ability to now impact their family, man, God bless you, dude. That is amazing, man. That's amazing, amazing, amazing work. We need more of that. And I kind of want to know, like, you know, how it all unfolded. So take me for a second, like, what was the moment that you had this idea? Like, how did it take me to the journey of going from the military to now being the CEO and taking this idea into this, you know, into this multi-million-dollar, unbelievable business?
Yeah, it kind of fell in my lap, bro, to be honest. Like, I wanted to be a customer. It's as simple as that. Like, opportunity didn't fall from the sky and say, this. I didn't wake up someday from a dream. Like, I was working out at the gym with a good friend of mine, Colonel Neely, and he got a piece done by a local artist here in Huntsville. And it was a baseball player. He was swinging a bat just like this, and it had his son's name engraved in it. And it was super cool. And my son, Carson, loves baseball. And so at that moment, I just wanted to be a customer. I reached out to this guy. He was super backlogged. And we had a small conversation, but he ended it just by saying, I'd love to be at your level one day. And as soon as he said that, something sparked in me. Instantly sparked and said, maybe I can get you to that level. And so I said, why don't you come to my office? I'll look at your business plan, and maybe I can help you. And so it started out initially as maybe a consulting job where I can make a couple $1,000s and offer this guy, help him, and it helps me in return. And the more that I got to know the business plan, I wanted to partner with them. And I made him an offer. And I said, I want 51% of your company, and I put strict terms on it. So before you judge me, real quick, this is what I said. I said, I'll do 6 times revenue of what you did last year. I'll finance the growth, but I'll own the assets. And I'll charge 0% interest to the company. And on top of that, I will not take a salary or distribution for an entire year until I hit that 6-time revenue mark. So a lot of very strict terms. And if I did not do it, I would give him back his company 100%. So 600% growth guaranteed, or he has nothing to lose. He agreed. The day we were supposed to sign, he backed out. He wanted to renegotiate. And I'm really big on, once we have something, your handshake is your bond. Like, if I say something, then there should be integrity behind it. Yeah. And it's not like I just wanted, I needed final control. Dude, if I'm gonna put these type of strict terms, I'm not gonna be dictated by what he says. I need the final say. So that's the reason behind the 51%. I don't need to be told how it's gonna be done. Like, I need to do it in my own way.
Like, I got $250,000 just in crown molding. how I'm going.
That's crazy.
And the sensor.
In the sensor, man. You ain't got a question.
Wow, that's unbelievable, dude. That's amazing.
This is how I even started Redline. I wanted to be a consumer. So I was working out at the gym with a good friend of mine, Colonel Neely. He had a son, loved baseball. And I reached out to this company to make me one. They were super backlogged, and he said he could make it, but it'd be like 12 to 14 weeks. So I ended up saying, okay, no problem, just get to me whenever you can. And he reached back out about 10 minutes later and said, holy shit, it's Colin Wayne. I didn't realize it was you. I can have it for you like this week. And so that's what this piece is inspired for the entire company. If it wasn't for this particular piece, Redline would probably not be in existence. So that's a big statement. So yeah, I mean, this is where it kind of started, man.
So what happened? So you get to that day, you get to sign this contract.
Yeah.
You know, you guys had this agreement.
Yes.
He's doing, you know, he's actually creating the product that you have today. What happened?
Bro, like, so the business plan shifted. It's like that. He backed out, right? He wanted to renegotiate. But let me put things into perspective. He was going to do the manufacturing. He knew the equipment. He knew the processes, how to powder coat. I knew it on paper. Never done it with my hands. So there's a completely different, you know, when you're writing a business plan, you need to know all of this stuff, but it's different to actually operate it and know how to do the programming, know how to run the machines, know how to powder coat, know how to grind. You know, I knew how to sell. I knew how to run Facebook ads. I knew how to run the back-end marketing. Besides that, did I know how to manufacture? I didn't. So when he backed out, I took it as a challenge. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. And he said, well, go ahead. I wish you the best of luck, right? And there's no bad blood. Like, I wish him the best, but it set something internally. Like, I've got something to prove now. I want you to know that you made the biggest regret decision of your life. And
Woo!
So with that being said, the very next day, I went and bought my first CNC plasma table. And it's sitting in the back. It's Charlie, and Charlie's gonna be our new conference room table. I just took a leap of faith, bro. Like, I believed in myself. I already saw the opportunity, the market opportunity, and I'll walk you through what I really, really loved about manufacturing and buying this piece of equipment. One, it's an asset that I can fast track amortize. Okay, that's important. Two, I was very excited that now it's an asset on the books that if this fails, it's an asset I can sell it and get at least 60, 70% of my money back, right? So it's almost a no risk. Third, you know, I'm willing to invest time because I believe in what I believe in myself, and I believe in at least giving it a shot. And also, with this piece of machinery, there's so many market opportunities. I could do sports licensing. I could go after just home decor in general. I could go after government contracting. I could go after specific parts services. So I could go like towards electrical or oil and so many different mechanics and verticals that I could have tapped into. So I said, all right, I'm gonna try home decor. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna try government contracting. You know, being military, there's veterans preference, so it'd be like plus points. So I felt very confident that if I couldn't make this work, I could do this. Worst case scenario, it's an asset, I can sell it and recoup, and all I did was lose some time. But at least I have a peace of mind in knowing that I gave it my all, and I tried.
Because right now, first of all, like that it has to be one of his regrets, right? I mean, from my understanding,
No doubt.
you are the leader right now when it comes to home decor and steel in the United States.
Correct.
So I mean, dang, like that reminds me of kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg story or Steve Jobs, the Steve Jobs story, right? He had that opportunity to be your partner and he didn't. But like, talk to me a little bit about like, how did you get the funding initially? Because you now own 100% of this entire business, which a lot of people think they need to raise money.
Yes.
A lot of people, they always think that money is going to solve the issue to make their idea come to reality. You bootstrapped this thing, but how did you go about it? Like, how did you actually have the money to invest into this?
That's interesting, bro. So get this. So before I was a company, I actually acquired a purchase order. I acted as if I was already a company. And I approached a company, and that helped self-fund about 50%. So to put things into perspective, it was about $40,000 initial investment. PO was about $22,000. So that helped get it off the ground. So that was in January of 16. Now you got to remember, like, the business plan shifted. I had no clue how to turn or operate the equipment. Now I got a purchase order. I got to fulfill it. He's already paid 30% down on the PO and the rest on arrival. Like, I got to figure this out. I'm past the point of no return. And so once I had that in place, that helped self-fund it. I could have funded it in itself, but that gave me at least reassurance that I could land a PO and I could go after other markets and use the same equipment for that. So that gave me some courage, man, right off the bat. I don't know if I would have been as aggressive getting started if I hadn't had that purchase order. So I cold called them, reached out, got it. I actually contacted a competitor, made samples, spent about $500, sent it as if I made it myself, sent it, and they loved it. They ended up buying 1,500 of them, and that's how it started. But from January to about June, I was fulfilling that purchase order, and I had no clue how to do it. So that's why it took that long. And I didn't launch my website until June of 2016. So.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest lessons there, right, is like to become resourceful, like get creative. And, you know, we had another episode with a designer, a fashion designer, Chris Stamp, and he did something very similar when he first started. He brought these sneakers, he went to a store, he got them to give him a shot, and literally hired his friend to go and buy the sneakers just to show that they sold. And like, so many entrepreneurs that I've met, like, they figure out how to be resourceful, how to get creative, and then leverage that creativity and being resourceful. Getting that first, go out there and create the sales. Go out there and build it from scratch. Get those initial sales, and then reinvest that. And I'm sure even now, even doing tens of millions of dollars in revenue, you're still reinvesting, staying resourceful. So, I mean, talk to me a little bit about once you got past that point. Now you find this gap in the market. You start with home decor. What advice would you give to someone? Talk me through, like, how did you actually test that out? How did you said you have a marketing background, you understood Facebook ads. Like, how does someone actually know this is a gap in the market? Here's a product, here's a solution to that, and like go all in.
Right. So I think what helped me, bro, is like I already had a social following. So social proof was already there. And it wasn't through people it wasn't only through friends and family giving me reassurance, oh, this is a great product. So you're testing the market before I was even spending a lot of market money.
So organically, you were already putting it out and letting people to test out.
Getting feedback, like open feedback. But I had millions of followers to this point, so it helped bootstrap some of it, the initial funding. I didn't start doing Facebook ads until probably around October, November. And I want to show you some of the data, man, because that's very important. Like, you could see basically the day that I started Facebook ads. The very next day, I basically did 300 times revenue of what I did the day before. And you could see massive spikes. And I soft scaled it. I started the first day at like, all right, I'm gonna do something crazy, bro. I'm gonna spend $400 today on Facebook ads. Mind blown, bro. Like, you're gonna spend $400? And at that time perspective, $400 was a lot of money. Now I'm spending, I spent probably $50,000 yesterday alone just in marketing. But look at what we're making. So you'll see the spikes, man. It's insane. But I had no experience or background in that. It was just like what I did opening the company. I figured it out.
Can you show me where they're from?
Yes. This is live right now. We got people in real-time views. 17 checking out right now. 25 add to carts within the next 10 minutes. 244 right there. Just keeps going up. Almost 1,500 orders today alone. Today.
Wow, 432 product reviews, man.
On just that product, yeah.
94 positive.
And we're at the top. Check this out. So I'm one of the few apps online, I was checking their flight, that turn our mobile site into a mobile or an app look and feel. So we custom coded so that your cart's always there and it always scrolls with you.
and then you can navigate super easy. Whereas a lot of websites, their shit's just at the top, and that's it. Their cart's right there. We want it to be where it's. And this, think about it. When you're scrolling, typically people are right-handed. This is a lot easier than this to have to do that. And then I have to scroll all the way up, hit the cart. So there's a lot of thought put into trying to optimize. I'm not a technical person, but we got a team that really is sharp. So
That's fucking awesome.
yeah, I'm more like practical. Like, dude, if I'm scrolling on my right finger, why is it this far? What can we do to fix that? And so I just tell the team, like, this is what he's looking for, look and feel, and then they go.
What about
do it.
photography and things like that? Do you do that here?
Yes, 100%. It's all done internal. If your website's not as fast as what it needs to be, people are going to lose patience and jump off. Same like this, making this thing flash, it gets your attention. You know what I mean? Like, and so we're about to implement something else that's really cool. It's going to help conversion rates. We're building out a way for our add to cart feature. So we've just built this out. This is a different type of checkout. It's a little bit more streamlined. It's great mobile, desktop still. Free gift on all purchases. To get average order values over $100, we're going to give away a free gift. So $45 value. And then we're going to do free shipping on the entire website. And then once they get over here, they're going to get buy one, get one free site-wide. Free shipping and free gift. It's going to be insane. And then we have a specific Black Friday collection. And they have all of this up to 64% off. And they can tack on what this is. So they can get 40% off plus the 64% off. And then free shipping and then a free gift.
So guys, I'm just curious, from watching this episode, how many of you are inspired to start an e-com business? And if you are, comment below, what is a product that you think that you would want to take to market? Maybe it already exists and you want to just really go into that market. Maybe there's a gap in the market, or maybe there's just some innovation. You have an idea of a new product that doesn't already exist. Comment below and let me know. And maybe Colin will get back to you guys and give you some mentorship on how he was able to become the Amazon of home decor with steel.
Facebook ads, bro. Like I had no clue what I was doing at the very beginning. I ran a lot of them. I was doing most of it organically. Then I started to test the market and Instagram and Facebook on paid ads and took off. And from there, it started to transcend into building landing pages and understanding, different types of funnels, whether it's a fishbowl funnel or sending people directly to a product page or directly to checkout. And so I started split testing a lot of different things and figuring out what works. And then also, I think the biggest thing for me was once I fine-tuned my demographic, once I figured out exactly who is your targeted audience, instead of me being super broad, narrowed focus. So now Redline's primary demographic is women between like 40 and 65 plus. That's our sweet spot. But I think a lot of people, they're too
trying to serve everybody instead of getting really niche focused.
And it goes even a lot deep dive other than just their age and their sex, and that's it. So it gets super granular. So
wow. So did you have anybody that helped you learn about those analytics, or you really you were just like, you dove in?
Yeah, man. I didn't have anybody. I'm from Alabama, bro. Like, I don't have a network of thousands of people that are super smart at Facebook. Like, I figured it out. Just like I figured out how to grow my following to, over 7 million across social media. Now, it's not all branded to me, but I started to learn it just like everything else. So all of the ads up until May of this year, I did myself. So last year, we did almost $10 million in revenue, and I was the only person getting revenue in for the company.
You tripled that this year, right?
Yes, Yes, that's the hope. The year's not done, but that's the goal. That's what we're projecting. So, I did all the Facebook ads. I did all the landing pages. I built out all the automation sequence for emails. And I didn't have somebody to tell me how to do it, and I just logically made it happen. And it didn't happen at once. It was like, okay, well, what if I do this? Let's test it. What if I did this? And we just moved super fast. Like, I would work 15 hours a day. Like literally last year, fourth quarter, this time last year at my old shop, I bought an RV and lived there, straight up. I lived 3 months in an RV because I didn't want to drive 20 minutes home every day, because that's 40 minutes round trip.
Wow.
I didn't want to waste that time. I needed to be at work.
You were all in. And you know what's unbelievable is, we were talking about this earlier, but you're a family man.
Yeah.
You have an unbelievable son. You have a daughter.
Yeah.
Your wife has been a huge anchor for you. Talk to me a little bit about the balance. A lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this, like, family, the balance between, like, you know, being a father or a mother while building a business and being all in during these initial stages, especially when you're growing the company.
Yeah.
You know, how have you been able to manage the two of those things?
Bro, I still struggle, to be honest. I'm very fortunate that I have a supportive wife, somebody that understands the journey, understands the stresses. I still struggle to this day. I try to get so on my last building, I built out an entire room that was built towards a nursery, rocking chair. I wanted it to be like, this is a separate home. I want you to come in to my work, and even if we can't see each other, but in passing, or if I were to spend 10, 15 minutes, so I tried to create the environment that's within Redline to work around my family. Weekends when I get my son, he comes to work with me. He'll make a few extra dollars packaging boxes, and he loves it. You know, since he was 5 years old for Christmas, all he's asked for is money. Like, it's insane, and it's, you know, I don't know. I just see a lot of him in me, and it's super cool to see. I don't know, my son, now that he's old enough to understand what's going on, being involved with it. My daughter, she's almost 2, so she doesn't really know what's going on, but we have a really good relationship. And to be honest, man, like, now that I've been able to step away from the micro, we've been able to do a lot more. When I'm off, I'm off. Like, we went to Disney World a couple weeks ago, had an amazing trip there. We go to Florida. I mean, every 6 to 8 weeks, we're trying to go away. A separation between this and everything else. And what's amazing is that I know that my team is getting shit done even harder because they have something to prove. When I come back, they want to show me what they did, what they accomplished, and it's without me even asking, because their actions are speaking louder than them telling me.
Yeah. I mean, you just hit on so many different things. I mean, I think it's remarkable that you obviously have such a strong woman by your side and is supportive and understood the short-term pain for long-term pleasure. Absolutely. She understood the vision. She's part of your team just as much as everybody else, if not more, right? Absolutely. And she has to understand that mission, just to be invested in that mission. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty remarkable that she, you know, really made that sacrifice with you. And now it's paying off. You're able to take that time off. You're able to be at the macro and not have to be on the micro. Right. Talk me through how you got to that point, right? You obviously, I respect you because you had to be hands-on. You learned everything. You understood and kept your finger on the pulse of all the aspects of the business and taught yourself. Talk to me about when it got to the point where you're like, okay, now I'm ready to build a team. Now I'm ready to trust. The same way you learned in the military. Yep. What was that process like for you? I'm
gonna be honest, bro. Like, it was hard. It was hard to pass down the reins. I knew that if I did something, it's gonna be done right. Even if it took my time, even if it took me working 15 to 16 hours, that was a hard point. It was about 8-9 months ago when I finally started to trust my team. We're still a new company. You gotta think.
You're still a startup.
8 months ago, bro,
Yeah.
like, we were 18 months old, so
Wow.
we weren't super, I mean, we're, 20 months, 24 months old, so super young as a company. It's hard to just pass the reins, and we're still trying to learn as it is. I got amazing leadership, bro. Like, God sent leaders that have came in to to Redline to make it easier. But it took me being able to level the playing field. I took what, in the military, we've got officers, we got NCOs, non-commissioned officers. And I used to hate it as an NCO when officers would stay and try to micromanage how I'm running a team. So if you look at Redline and the way it's structured, I made it where you could look at me as a colonel. I've got my sergeant major, I got some staff sergeants, and I let them run their department. I give them true ownership. And it took a while to get to that point, but that's when I was finally able to let them prove it. And they did, and they exceeded expectations. And even if they would have done stuff different, I let them do it. I let them fail. But we worked past it. And at the end of the day, now it's bro, it's weird. I'm gonna be honest, like 2 weeks ago, I walked out to fulfillment, I felt like I was in the way. And that's never happened before. Like I felt like they had such processes, such systems going on that now I can walk in and be like, this is awesome. When you can look back at a big picture and see it on a daily basis that it's running like a fine oiled machine. And that's because I finally trusted the person to my left and to my right, because I never had, 8 months ago, bro, I didn't have that trust 100%. I mean, I trusted them to show up and do what was asked, but I never gave them that freedom. I never gave them 100% like, I'm gonna let you run this department and see how you can do it. So it took me stepping back and letting it be like, I wouldn't have ran it that way, but now they're running it this way and it's doing better than what I could have expected. So I think as an entrepreneur, man, having people that you trust 100% and giving them the reins, like letting them try. And if something doesn't work, you can reel it back in. And it took some faith, but now it's paid off dividends, and for them as well. So
yeah, I love it. And you know, you guys have probably noticed, like we're in a working factory, so you probably hear things going off. I mean, all day when we've been shooting and spending time together, it's just been, you know, you see that process, you see that leadership, you see everybody putting in that work, playing their role. So it's really, really inspiring. So talk to me about when you started taking that macro. What does that look like? What is it like to truly be the CEO? To finally to get your hands off of everything. Yeah. And now how do you become the best CEO that you can be for Redline?
You know, I think the biggest issue that we have at this point is supply chain management. I don't have any background when it comes to that. Some of our biggest growth pains have been supply chain. Orders coming in, how do we balance that coming out? And so if I'm always involved with the micro, I can't focus on the bigger picture. What type of equipment do we need to buy? If we're looking at separate verticals to stretch lifetime value, opening up candles, opening up canvas so that we can service other customers with different like items to that same demographic. So it's allowed me to focus on a much larger picture. You know, we just opened a retail store that I intend to franchise. So with me not being so involved with the day-to-day operations here, I can open those other entities, and now I'm pretty involved in the micro of those. But I love it, bro. Like I love the journey. Like I love concept to reality. I wouldn't know what to do if things weren't going crazy. Like I wouldn't know what to do if things were just everything was fine oiled. Like that's the journey, man. That's what's fun. Like I love it. And when I love showing up to work, like I would rather be here than to be at a club. Like I would rather be, and even if nobody's here, bro, I know like it's weird to say it, but like this is my home too. Redline is my baby. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure it's that way with Elite Daily. Like when you showed up to work, like you were super passionate about being there, you know, and it's the same way here, man. Like when I drive here in the morning, stepping foot, I told you, like walking into little shit, like our stainless steel fridge. I'm proud of it, bro. Like putting together our new benches, seeing our laser get delivered, flying all the way over to Switzerland to visit with the owners and executives of Bystronic and some of those partnerships for ongoing relationships. Those are the things I'm allowed to do as a macro, but I can step back now and like really appreciate what we have. And so it's
the pride. I mean, it's got to be a lot of pride.
Yeah, it is, dude. Super. I'm proud, man. Like, no doubt. And I'm so like seeing these guys transform. Seeing my guys from 20 years old, now they're 21, 22 years old, young men growing to men, boys that grow into men. Seeing them transform into being site or shift supervisors and giving them that opportunity because they earned it. It wasn't given to them, but they earned it. And seeing that happen, man, it's amazing. I love the macro, but I also love the micro, man, dude. Like I love getting out here grinding. I didn't used to like to work with my hands. I was definitely behind the scenes, kind of, but now I love it. I love just trying to help other people out. And I look at it like, don't expect me to be there, but if I am, it's an extra.
Redline canvas on the back.
Oh, nice. Officially got my first piece of Redline home decor.
Nice and protected.
Yeah, good package. Oh man, love it, bro. I love it, man.
It's something to remember this trip.
Dude, thank you so much. Absolutely love it. I always thought about getting an eagle actually tattooed too. I absolutely love it, bro.
Wow.
What a great symbol, man, for everything that you
freedom,
stand
bro.
for, man, and for everything that we do and our country. So thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
It's rare that I get to sit across someone who, you know, is a hero in his own right, serving, and then goes through something like that. Afghanistan, Iraq, goes through almost losing his life, and, you know, has the opportunity to kind of like overcome something like that. I don't think that's something that, you know, a lot of us can even really fathom, you know, like what that would be like. So the courage that you had to even put yourself in that position is something that just like I highly respect, man. And God is definitely looking over you and is within you, and you know, definitely you have that purpose, and it's clear that that's unfolding on it, you know, right now, right in front of your eyes. So it's a blessing,
What's
man.
even crazier, bro, is like I volunteered for it. I volunteered. I believe in what America stands for. I believe in the freedoms. I believe in, I wanted to do something. I wanted to serve my country. And you know, I jumped from company to battalions to try to go overseas. A lot of people, they were afraid to go. I wasn't afraid. I'll go back tomorrow, bro. Like, I did a USO celebrity tour to Jordan, right next to Syria and Iraq. And bro, I'll go back to Afghanistan tomorrow. Like, I'm not afraid. Like, I believe there's something bigger. And I think that when you have pivotal moments in your life that is a near-death experience, I think that it triggers something in most people that you just appreciate life and you want to live it to the fullest.
What did you also learn? I mean, I'm being there from a leadership perspective. Before I kind of want to go into that next chapter, because I feel like a lot of people go, you know, they get out of the military and they don't really know what to do next. But like, just talk to me for a second about what you actually learned there, being a part of the military, being a part of that system, with that type of leadership, hierarchy, you know, authority. What were some of the things that you truly learned that you bring into your life today?
Yeah. So, I love my time in the military. Just like anything, there's good times, there's bad times, but I reminisce on the good times. I think the biggest thing for me is like the leadership and the brotherhood, the culture that's cultivated. Like so I was over in Iraq. I know I'm going all over the place, but over in Iraq, I did over 100 combat missions. I was a gunner, I was a driver. I did, you know, I went to Baghdad several times. We drove MSR Tampa. The guys that were in that security squad, they got your back. They got your back 100%, and it's life or death. If I'm a gunner and I'm on the rear, my job is 6 o'clock security. So my sectors of fire are between this percentage and this percentage. And I trust the person at the truck 3 is gonna have my 9. And I trust the person that's at front truck, our lead truck, has our 12. You know what I mean? Like, I think that in a combat zone, in a combat situation, like the brotherhood and the level of trust that you have for somebody, when you're doing a foot patrol through the city, like we did that getting ready for the elections, and there were bombs. There was over like 450 V-beds, those vehicle-borne IEDs, on a single day in Iraq, and I was there, a part of that. And it's getting ready for the election. I think that was the first elections ever in Iraq, or the second. Maybe it was the second. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that those guys had my back and I had theirs. And so taking something here, cultivating the same thing into Redline Steel, you could ask any of my guys, does Colin have your back? I got a saying like similar to Arvin's. You give me 100%, I'm gonna give you 110. If you give me 90, I'm not giving you a fucking thing. So I'm really big on that. But knowing that, dude, I bought people cars. I've paid people's mortgages when they couldn't pay the bills, because they're doing a lot for me, and that's what family does. You know what I mean? Like like we're not blood brothers, but we're family. And Redline, we've cultivated such, it's hard to explain, man, but the closest thing that I could embody that to is like my security squad that I was in Iraq with. Like there's a good 15 people here out of the 50 plus employees that are career driven. They will be here, ride or die, like no doubt about it. And that's hard to find. It's hard to find people that, even though their salary and they're not getting paid to be here on a Saturday, they show up. And you know what? They're gonna show up tomorrow too, because we're behind and they know the mission. It's mission first. We gotta do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so the military has helped instill that to me so that I can carry that out as a voice to them. And I think when they know there's no hidden agenda, that I've got your back, they could call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and if I answer, if they're in trouble, I got their back.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode on Colin Wayne. It was one of the most inspiring stories. I had such an amazing time. Thank you, Colin, for flying out the team to Alabama. That's the first time anyone has ever done that. Typically, I take on the expense. And I just want to say my ultimate gratitude for you for hosting us in your home, in your factory. You're truly an American hero, and your success is really leaving a legacy of what's truly possible. You know, thank you so much for serving and for your leadership. Guys, if this impacted you, please let Colin know, let us know, subscribe, share this with your friends. And also, we are now launching a new podcast. We're excited. It's coming, the Gerard Adams podcast. So be prepared for that, and stay tuned, because we're going to be really doing a lot of the uncut, raw interviews that'll be going on this podcast, as well as me being vulnerable and really diving deep into my own personal stories of how I've been able to manifest success in my life. You know, creating 2 8-figure businesses by 30, but really not only creating the monetary and financial success, but really the spiritual success as well. So I'll be diving deep into that, reporting to you about industry news in regards to social media, thought leadership, entrepreneurship, tech, culture, and consciousness. And then I'll also be doing Q&A, really answering your questions live on the podcast. So I'm excited about that. And Leaders Create Leaders will continue to evolve, be a part of this audio experience as well as YouTube. And then we have some new short films that'll be coming to market. So thank you for being a part of this movement. And we look forward to having you guys take the next steps for our upcoming experience announcement coming soon. Peace.